The weight of everything left unsaid hangs heavy in the air, a silent tension that stretches between Fern and Mira, something neither of them can bring themselves to name, but both feel with a painful intensity. After the storm of the last episode, they find themselves drawn back together, meeting on the rooftop of their university dorm, a place that's somehow unintentionally become their sanctuary. The sky is painted in soft shades of orange and pink. As the sun begins its slow descent, the gentle light softening the harsh edges of all the things they've been trying so desperately to run away from. Fern gets there first. You can see the nervousness radiating off her as she paces back and forth across the concrete. She's always been the player, the one who's confident, unapologetically bold, and loves being the center of attention. But when it comes to her own feelings, these raw, real emotions, she's completely defenseless. Mira, on the other hand, wears her calmness like a protective shield. She's the gentle one, the cautious one, always putting others first, trying to avoid causing any pain, even if it means sacrificing her own happiness. They couldn't be more different, yet an undeniable magnetic force keeps pulling them into each other's orbits. When Mira finally steps out onto the rooftop, the first thing Fern notices isn't her physical appearance, but the bone-deep weariness in her eyes. It's an emotional exhaustion, as if she's been fighting a silent internal battle that no one else can see. "You wanted to talk," Mira says, her voice quiet, barely a whisper against the evening breeze. Fern swallows, the lump in her throat suddenly feeling like a stone. She did want to talk, desperately, but now that Mira's here, the words feel too heavy, too impossible to say. I didn't want us to end like that." The silence that follows is sharp, cutting. Mira takes a few steps closer, closing some of the distance between them, but stopping just out of reach. "We never even began," she replies, and there's a tremor in her voice, a vulnerability Fern has never heard before. That single sentence hits Fern with the force of a physical blow because it's the absolute truth. They've been dancing around each other for so long, flirting, teasing, pretending it was all just a harmless game. But the reality is, every single moment spent with Mira has felt like a confession, a truth Fern is too terrified to admit out loud. "I'm not good at this," Fern finally confesses, her usual bravado gone. "I'm not good at..." Feelings? A sad, almost bitter laugh escapes Mira's lips. "You think I don't know that?" "Fern, you push people away the second they get even a little bit close." Panic flickers in Fern's eyes. "Except you." Mira's expression softens for a fraction of a second, but she holds her ground. She's not going to make this easy. If Fern wants her, if she truly wants her, she needs to say it. Not with a playful smirk or a clever line, but with genuine, unvarnished honesty. Taking a deep breath, Fern closes the remaining distance between them. The space that once felt like a chasm is now gone. "I don't want to hide anymore." "Not from you." The wind whispers around them, carrying the muffled sounds of life from the campus below. But up here on this rooftop, the world feels small, private, and incredibly fragile. Mira looks away, her gaze fixed on the fading light, trying to resist the pull she feels, trying not to let herself be drawn back into Fern's gravity. "You say that now," Mira says, her voice laced with doubt. "But what happens when it gets hard? When people start talking? When you start to doubt yourself again?" "I won't doubt you," Fern says, her voice surprisingly firm, solid. "And if I start to doubt myself, then I'll fight it. For you." This time, Mira turns back and really looks at her. She sees the fear still lingering in Fern's eyes, but underneath it, she sees sincerity. A deep, unwavering sincerity. And it dawns on her that maybe, for the very first time, Fern isn't playing a game. She isn't trying to win. She's just trying not to lose. Mira lets out a slow, shaky breath, the one she feels like she's been holding forever. "Fern, you can't treat me like one of your games." "I can't handle being just another player in your life." "You're not a player," Fern whispers, her voice thick with emotion. "You're the only one I can't play with." That's the problem. The raw vulnerability in that admission strikes Mira in a way she wasn't prepared for. It bypasses all her defenses. She turns away for a moment, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. Why now? Why tell me this when everything is already so messy? Fern gently, tentatively reaches for Myra's hand. Because losing you feels worse than anything else. Mira hesitates for a long moment, her mind racing. But she doesn't pull her hand away. The scene melts away, taking us back into a cascade of memories, a montage of their shared past. We see stolen glances across a crowded classroom during group projects. We see Fern lingering just a little too long when handing Mira her notebook, their fingers brushing. We see Myra's unique, heart-stopping smile, the one that always made Fern's own heart stumble in her chest. None of it was a coincidence. None of it was accidental. Every small moment was a step on the path leading them right here, to this rooftop, to this inevitable confession. Back in the present, under the darkening sky, Mira finally finds her voice. I'm scared. Me too, Fern admits, her own fear laid bare. But maybe we don't have to be scared alone. They're so close now. Their foreheads nearly touch, their breaths mingling in the cool night air. But just before the moment can escalate, just before it can become something more, Mira stops it. If we do this, she whispers, her voice barely audible, I need you to promise me. Promise you won't hurt me again. Fern cups Myra's cheek, her thumb stroking gently across her skin, a silent vow in the simple touch. I promise. Myra closes her eyes, letting the warmth of Fern's hand seep through her fear, melting it away. When she opens them again, the decision is there, clear and resolute. It's not a decision made without fear, but it's one filled with hope. Okay, she breathes. And they don't kiss. Not yet. The moment is too fragile, too new. But their hands find each other, their fingers intertwining, holding on tight. And for the first time, it's not a game. It's not a secret. It's real, openly, honestly real. Something that can no longer be denied.